Okay, we're going to be testing the Melicam Control Extreme software with the new VirtualDub filters incorporated into the software. And the way that you connect, first I can turn on Melicam Control, and I click on the yellow tab just to cancel the 3-minute timer. Then I do a read from camera and then wait for the 3-minute countdown to lapse. Once it does that, then you want to go into your video tab in the Melicam Control, and you want to make sure you do not touch this. Don't drop down this tab and select 640 by 480 again. Don't click on the config for thing is at the, and all you do is make sure that nothing here is touch. You just go to device and select your frame grabber. Now the frame grabber that I am using is the 2828X, the MCV1E, and once the device is connected, the sliders will go into their default settings. You turn on the preview screen and we get the preview that is shown here. Now this webcam max, the red box specific area, is stretched to 720 by 480 because at the end of the session I'm going to test it to increase the size from 640 to times 480 to 720 by 480. So anyways, we are connected. We have a 15-minute limit on YouTube, so I'm going to go through this. Now when none of these VirtualDub filters are selected, there should be no delay on the color bar or the cross box or crosshairs. So we're going to try the color box. I'm going to put it here so you can see that I will select it and just move it up a touch, and we selected it and they come on within a second or two, and it's off and right away. And the cross box, I'll select the cross box, comes on immediately and off right away. Crosshairs, they take a little bit longer, but that's normal. Even on the regular Melicam Control it was a little bit slower, but not bad. They close right away, but coming on takes a second or two longer, but it still works good. Okay, now if you notice under capture control, we have the original filters that Stefan incorporated into the Extreme program before, and some of them, the important ones, have been left, like Gaussian. And if I click on here, if you're looking at the word testing, you'll see a change take place immediately. Low pass changes and sharpen. So they're very, very nice filters. We also have a nice histogram. When I click on histogram, that's been left. So when we make changes either through the video sliders or the capture control filters or VirtualDub filters, we can watch our histogram. Nice thing about the histogram also is it is separate from the program, so you can move it into a good position where you like it. So I'm going to click it off. Now I noticed that when, say for example, we click the sharpen filter, it's kicked in. Now if I go to color bars and we turn that on, we pretty well have no delay. It's the same, so there's no effect. Even the cross box right away, and I'm selecting, and the crosshairs, again, it's always a little bit slower than the cross box, but it is not affected. But when I go into the VirtualDub filters, and how do I know when I'm connected to VirtualDub? Well, there's a couple of ways. You can slide the brightness down. Now it works right away. Okay, but notice if I select that filter, it takes a few seconds. See? Alright, now that's how I can tell I'm connected, because it does take a little bit of time. Also, this is a nice one to test your RGB saturation. So I'll open it, and right now we have the blue selected. So I'm going to Bring that back to 100 default, and we'll select the green. Hit OK. Now, as soon as I hit OK, the beauty about this is because this filter is checkmarked already, all I have to do is hit OK, and it changes instant. Or we can unselect it, select it. We can go and select red, and this is almost like the color bar checker in the program. When we check if we're connected through the auxiliary port, we use the color bar. And this is a good way to check if we're connected to VirtualDub. Now again, as it is selected, we'll hit OK, and it changes right away. So I'll bring that back to default at 100. Hit OK, and that will go back to normal. Now, we're going to check the hotspot and check the amp glow. Now, this is a very nice filter, and this filters out amp glow. It can also be used later on. I'll open this up and mention it, but I do have the proper filter selected. We want to select the size to match your preview. I'm going to relabel these at 640 by 480 like I did here. These were Jim's original filters that he did, and I put them into Photoshop and resized them to 720 by 480, but kept the quality the same. So if we cancel that one, because I already have one selected, 240 seconds. Now this box, we want to leave it checked for amp glow. That will darken the corner here to get rid of the glow. If we uncheck it, it will make it bright, and that will, not with this mask, but with a vignetting mask, it will help with vignetting. So we'll check it and say OK, and engage it, and there it is right there. So you can see it darkening in the upper left where the amp glow would be. So we'll just deselect it and select it again, and I'll show you what it would look like if we were to invert it. Again, we will leave this check mark, so we'll just hit OK, and you have the opposite effect. You have more glow happening. So we'll take that back, invert it again, hit OK, and we have the darkening effect. Now the warp sharp is good to reduce the hot and warm pixels by about 50% and reduce star bloatedness. And we click on the config, and max you want to go is up to 200. Keep blur pass at 1. So we'll just try it here, and we'll connect, and you can see the word testing what it does. So it is working, and works well when we have the images. The gradation curve is an amazing one, and I found on the website somebody had some preset filters, readings or filters that I copied and pasted directly into Malacam Extreme. So when we open it up, it defaults to a nice curve, but if we don't want to use that curve, we can always go to import here. Alright, let me raise this up a bit. Import, and let's see. Now it's under RGB weighted. We want to leave it there. It defaults to there because we don't want to go to RGB only, because that will affect our color. We just want to stretch the data and not affect the color. So we leave that there. We go to import, and you can see we have more brightness, more contrast, less contrast, etc. Correction of all three, gamma, brightness, and contrast, and lab color correction. I'll talk about that one after. So if we want to increase the gamma, we'll click that one, and you can see the curve did change. We hit OK and put a check mark, and you can see it goes brighter because we're increasing the gamma. Okay. Now, if we're going to pick another curve, we'll import it, and most of these are under RGB space. All of these except for the last one, lab color correction, and that has to be under lab for space. So we're going to open it, select it first, and open it, and it defaults to 0, and we go up here and we select lab, Now it takes a few seconds to kick in, and it has nothing to do with Melicam Extreme Control because I've tested this in VirtualDub and it's the same thing. What it's doing is it's separating the color channels from the luminance. So we're going to be working on the luminance only. So in a few seconds that should space should turn to lab and channel should say luminance. So I'll just give it a time. There we go. Lab for space, luminance for channel. Processing is under lab, L-A-B. Okay, and we hit OK, and I'm going to put a check mark, and you can see there's a slight change. So that works. So I'm going to bring it back to RGB. But first we're going to import an RGB. We'll do brightness, increase brightness. Now it goes back to 0, so you have to go back to RGB. Now if you're changing RGB to another RGB, you don't have to touch this or the weighted. But when you go from lab back, you have to change it. But you can see the changes have taken effect. The brightnesses are brighter, the darkers have been risen higher. So we hit OK, and that's off, that's on. So it does increase the brightness. Okay, off. Now what we're going to test is, because we're in 720, I'm going to take the sharpness off here. We're in 640 by 480, sorry. I've tested this a few times to go to 720 by 480, and it worked, and we'll test it again, see if it works. If it doesn't, then I'll show a separate video showing connection to 720 by 480. The most important thing to do is make sure everything is unselected. So we don't want anything selected in the VirtualDub filters or the capture control. Leave it all blank. And then we're going to pick the mask. So we're going to select the mask for 720. So we'll pick here. We had this one. We're going to pick the 720. 720 by 480. Hit OK. Now device, we do not disconnect from devices. Don't touch that. Leave that connected to your frame grabber. All you do is you want to go to the size and then click on that. You will scroll down and you select 720 by 480. So I'm going to pull this over. Now again, this window's set up for 720, so this should expand across if it's going to work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm going to go to 720, select that. Okay, and we didn't get an error message, so maybe that worked. But the brightness is kicking in right away, so I don't think that we are connected. But let's see. If I go to green, increase the green, select OK. Oh, good. Okay, so we are connected. We have the green. Okay, at 720 by 480. And we can go to blue. Hit OK. And it's blue. I'll leave this selected and we'll change blue and try it on red. And as soon as I hit OK, it changes. Alright, so we're going to try the amp low. We already have the mask selected, so we're going to hit hotspot, and it works. And disconnect that. Warp sharp works. Gradation works. So everything seems to be working. I'm very happy with it so far. Stefan did a great job. More testing to do, some tweaks here and there, and it looks like it's going to be exciting. So thank you, and I'm going to sign off for now. We just are under 15 minutes.